I remember for at least 8 months or a year, on Sunday afternoon, we would meet on our porch. How many of us? About 5 or 6 of us. And we would pray and talk and think and just daydream about what covenant could be, what it would be like.
All of us as parents had an experience in looking at other schools in the area, and we had kids in those schools, and we realized that nothing was quite as we envisioned for the education of our children. We were looking for something more.
That was an exciting time because the confidence that we as teachers had came from the knowledge that those who wanted this school to really come to fruition were praying and had the faith to believe that this is what God wanted.
One of the things that has impressed me the most about Covenant right through is a faithful faculty. You have people who love Christ, but really care about the subject they're teaching and care about the kids that they're teaching. And something that hadn't been mentioned, praying parents. The parents at Covenant are really behind what Covenant is doing and are very much supporting it, not only with their prayers, but with their finances, and make it a really interesting whole family kind of place, seems to me.
And there were so many people praying. I mean, that's kind of the way the kingdom works. There's things going on that you don't even know, that God knows. I mean, I'm sure there are many people, we have no idea how they prayed or that they were even praying.
When we were still in this incubation period to form the school, I'm sure you remember this, there was a woman, I think she was on Social Security, that wrote Stephen Yao and told him that she had been praying for a school like Covenant. And she sent $5 a month.
One thing I think that when people come through to look at the school, if they are looking for, their own children, they often comment, and I think it's so true, is the love that just, radiates from the classrooms. And if you love children, you can teach them anything.
Looking out for the next 40 years, the important thing to keep the school on track is to remember all of the miracles of the past 40 and those that are going to occur between now and the next 40.
I know that God's still doing miracles, but I want us to make sure that we continue to pray in the same way that we did in those early days.
I think that I was always hopeful, but I was never optimistic that it would actually be true to its roots. Because in studying and learning along the way, we just learn institutions don't stick to, they start out with this lofty, godly goal and they don't remain there. And I would say that's the thing that I'm happiest.
Well, I think that's going to be the challenge for the future. I think that as the culture changes and as the school grows, I think the external pressures to concentrate more on academic excellence rather than the sovereignty of God, both of which I think are vitally important to the life of the school. We won't be here 40 years from now, but we'll be looking down and seeing what's going on.
Speak for yourself, Jeff.
And it is my hope and prayer that Covenant will never walk away from its roots.
I do pray for the school all the time because I want it to still be the light on the hill.
Whenever I drive in and get that vista of the upper campus, what I see is our song, God's faithfulness. So if you're ever down, just take that drive and look at that school and you will get a vision of what God has done in this community through a bunch of people who loved Him but had no idea what they were doing, but had given a vision.
Oftentimes in church, when we sing Great is Thy Faithfulness, I get tears in my eyes because I think about when you really roll it back and think about there are 50 million miracles that God blessed us with. He was faithful. We just needed to continue to be faithful.